Hey everybody, Jeremy here from Shade Tree Vintage Auto and DD Auto and Salvage here in Logan, Utah. And I'm going to talk to you about this awesome 69 Dodge Dart that's been sitting for over 30 years. Okay, so this car, like I said, it's been sitting for over 30 years. And I purchased the car as a parts car. And we're going to go over it here in a second. And I'll kind of show you a couple of the reasons why it's going to be a parts car. But more importantly, I'm wondering if after 30 years of just being dormant and sitting there, if this right here can be a race car. So, yes, I am announcing we are officially going to Duct Tape Drags in Tucson at the end of September. And I want to take this awesome Dart Swinger. Now, it's more than meets the eye. It looks like just a base car right here. Hood's wrong and everything. This is an actual 340 4-speed car, has the 340 and the 4-speed. I did actually get it to fire up the other day in a video that I posted, a short that I've since removed because it got a lot of criticism. Now, there is a reason that this car is going to be a parts car, and I will go over that in another video, but none of the parts are for sale, so that's kind of a hint. This car is extremely rusty. The rear frame rail on the passenger side has a hole in it. And as you can see, I mean, it's bad. You look here, I mean, that's not a small hole in the frame or the floor. It's pretty rough, but it has everything to save another 340 4-speed car. Anyway, that's a huge hint, but, we'll go over that in another video, like I said. But get this hood open, maybe. There, it's over there. Like I said, 340 has the correct air filter assembly, has the X heads, the correct manifolds, all of that stuff. But in order to be in the beaters class at duct tape, the car's got to be worth less than $5,000. Realistically, this car is worth way less than $5,000 if you don't count the drivetrain. The engine and transmission and rear end are what make it, you know, $5,000 or better. The body on this car is just hashed. There's not really any good sheet metal on it at all. It is a cool car with lots of potential. I mean, look at the inner fenders. How often do you see rust that bad on the front of the inner fender? Not very often. You can see that sweet patch back there. That side's pretty bad. So there's going to be a lot of work if anybody ever really wanted to restore this car, but it's just not worth it feasibly with what I have planned for it. But anyway, like I said, we want to have this at Duct Tape Drags, and I am giving myself kind of a fairly strict budget for everything, including safety stuff, which doesn't count in the $5,000 budget. It's about $1,500 is my budget to have this car, tires, everything ready to go and get it down to duct tape. So yeah, hopefully we can make it. This car's going, as well as the Max wagon, which you guys have seen a little bit of. Johnny Mopar just posted a cool video of it with me taking him for a ride. Anyway, so we'll have this car and the Max wagon down there. I'm really excited. This is going to be our first year going, and hopefully it won't be the last. Anyway, I'm going to get this thing loaded up and get it out to the yard. I do have to say, I'm really impressed with how well it actually runs. Pretty smooth. Whole bunch of the parts for it and some for the Super Coupe in here now. Had to stop and get some stuff for that because I'm working on a video for the Super Coupe today as well. It will be out before this video, so you could have already seen it. I mean, as far as rust goes, like, look at that. Thing is really bad. Deck lid's really bad. A little bit of smoke out of this bank, but that's all right. This quarter panel's been really poorly replaced. Perfect car for duct tape drags. I'm gonna go ahead and get it loaded up. loaded and ready to go where I will be building it. Gonna probably put some fresh fuel in it too. And like I said, over 30 years. So frame, there's all flaky here. There's a hole right here. That side's pretty flaky. You can see there's holes in the trunk, up in. Oh, and really quick, while I've got it up on the lift, just so you can see, so I've talked about these before, like the Hemi cars and 344 speeds had all these torque boxes. So you can see like the torque box right there. And then up here on the front, there's also a torque box. So Hemi cars, convertibles, 6-pack cars, mostly 4-speed stuff, but not all. In fact, that 6-pack car right there, that Super B, that's a V-code 4-speed real deal, and it doesn't have the torque boxes for some reason. And then I've heard of slant 6 cars that do for whatever reason. But as a standard, the performance 4-speed cars and convertibles had them. Okay, so we've got what I'm going to be calling the duct tape dart in, so we can start doing the work, getting it ready for duct tape drags. Unfortunately, the Challenger kind of got pushed out in the weather. That's all right, because it's going for frame straightening, so it's going to be leaving anyway. But we'll come back to the focus, which is the duct tape dart, getting it ready for duct tape drags. So basically, the only thing we're going to do, tires, shocks, work on the brakes, make sure everything's copacetic, tune up, and I am going to put electronic ignition on it, maybe a different carburetor, but that's about it. Otherwise, pretty much as you see it, this is how it's going to go and compete down at Duct Tape Drags in Tucson, and super excited. It's going to be so much fun. Cameron and Kevin are taking a car or two if I can talk them into building one, another one. And anyway, so we're going to get the wheels off so I can go get those mounted, and then we're going to work on the car. Try to get it all ready next week, even though it's quite a bit early. But hey, better to be done now than a day before we got to go. Well, I've just cleared shop space so that we can get the duct tape dart in. And we're going to start trying to get everything ready so that it's copacetic to go racing. Heck yes. Okay, so I've got the car in the shop, and I'm going to put it on jack stands, but really quick, I'm going to just kind of go over the plans for the car, what we're going to do. So like I kind of stated, for the Battle of the Beaters at Duct Tape Drags, the car is supposed to be worth $5,000 or less, not counting the safety equipment. So in my eyes, brakes and tires and shocks even are safety equipment. Yeah, the shocks are kind of whatever, but I didn't buy anything special for that. So what I've got are just the brake lines, the rubber pieces. I've got the wheel cylinders and the master cylinder, because that master cylinder doesn't feel very good. Plus, as soon as you start using the brakes after it's set for 30 plus years, the wheel cylinders will start leaking. But I'm hoping that all the rest of the brake hardware and everything is good and we can get away with just the minimal. Because like I said, I only want to put about $1,500 into the car on top of what we purchased it for. Now, I know a lot of you guys are going to say, well, I saw this car advertised on Facebook for $9,500, so you're already way past. Okay, that's true. The car was advertised on Facebook for $9,500. However, it was there for 2 months. I messaged the guy and said, hey, if I come down with cash today and a wrecker, how much? Well, I'm not going to tell you how much, but it was not even half of the $9,500. So, you know, it is what it is. I got the car for way less, less than $5,000 by a far cry. And if it wasn't for the engine and transmission, there's no way this car would be worth even $2,000. But it's got a tired, worn out 340 in it. It is a real 340 car, like I've already stated. It is a real 4-speed, but it's tired. It needs rebuilt and everything like that. So I will admit the car is probably right there, right on the line of the $5,000, but I don't think it's a $5,000 car. And I'll show you more once we get underneath it and a couple other things. But anyway, back to what I'm adding. We do want a tach. So I had this vintage sun tach that's all rusty and everything just laying around. I haven't tested it, so I don't know if it will work, but I'm hoping. Then just basic Monroe gas shocks, not air shocks, nothing like that, just basic shocks, just so it'll hopefully handle. We're doing an oil change, obviously, a tune-up with a better coil, and I am upgrading to electronic ignition, and I just got one of the Proform kits. Hopefully it's worth a dang. I've heard people say it's junk. I've heard people say it's okay. Well, I'm going to test it out and find out and let you all know. But anyway, that's basically the extent. I will change the transmission fluid probably, or at least top it off. I'll probably change the U-joints more for a safety thing than anything else. Luckily, the car already has a newer tank in it. However, I don't know how long it's been in the car because the fuel is absolutely rancid. So I'll probably have to clean it out because you know what they say, if you add 10 gallons of fresh brand new gas to 1 gallon of bad gas, how much bad gas do you have? 11 gallons. So want to get all that stuff out, clear it out. Like I said, the car is really rusty. Rusted up here, rusted back there. There is some frame issue in the back. And then, like I said, the floor pans are horrible on both sides. So we're actually gonna go out here in just a moment and go shopping for floor pans, and I'll go with that. Oh, the one other thing I'm going to do, like I said, tires are a safety thing. So I've already put the front ones on just because I had 6 wheels. So I put front ones on, and then here are the rear ones. We're gonna put those on. I put the white letters out because I love white letters, but I almost wish just for this event I would have bought some white line tires, but oh well. You know, it is what it is. Like I said, floor on this side also absolutely horrible. Trunk floor has holes in it, but I'm not going to worry about patching those in any sort of way because realistically I'm not going to do anything back here. Look, there's even bee nests still in the car. There were bees, but luckily they vacated. And again, over 30 years. So yeah. Anyway, let's go floor shopping. And just really quick, the Max wagon, we're also going to get it ready for duct tape drags, so you'll see it down there. Head gaskets are bad, so maybe this weekend we'll get the head gaskets replaced, and hopefully that will make the car way better. Okay, so I'm going to go kind of ghetto on the floor, and luckily with the scrap yard, we get a whole bunch of old road signs in, and they're aluminum. But I take these to like swap meets and sell them because a lot of people like them and they're just kind of fun. But there's a couple here. These I've been saving for something. So I think the buckle up and live one might be kind of fun. I might be able to cut the no jumping one up and get the danger sign and use it. Oh yeah, that one. That one's one of my favorites. I don't want to cut it up, but I got to figure out a way to use that. So I'm going to take the slow children at play one. Maybe, I don't know what I'm going to do. Let's see, those ones are too big. But we got all these. No winter maintenance. Reduce speed ahead. That might be a good floor. So I think I'll take those over there and figure out how to turn the danger and the buckle up and the reduce speed into a floor pan. Well, I've got the carpet cut out, the floor is all vacuumed, and you can see the big holes. Driver's side's probably worse than the passenger side. I don't know, they're both pretty darn bad. Anyway, so what I'm gonna do is make templates So this is what's left of the box from the aluminum radiator that I got for the Max wagon. And basically I'm going to use this one per side and make a template, cut it out. That way, once I get the template cut to how I want, I can sit it on one of the signs and use a grinder and a cutoff wheel and just cut it down to the shape that I need it, and then I can shape it, get it to sit down in there with a rubber mallet. So the passenger template is cut. Now remember, this is not supposed to look nice, anything like that. It's for a beater car. It's just to seal up the hole so that your foot doesn't fall through. So it's not going to be perfect. I don't want it to be perfect. In fact, I want it to be a beater. So this is the shape it's going to be. So I kind of want the danger bit as much as possible. So I'm going to sit the template about right here, and I'm going to have to do some trimming right here. This is the side going to the 4-speed hump, or to the hump. And then on this side, I'll cut it, and then I've got a curve down here. However, I'm going to push it down as much as possible, and then it's just going to need a little trim right there. And then as I get it in the car, I might have to cut a few like relief notches, but I'll figure that out as soon as I start putting it in. I'm just going to use this cutoff wheel. Be sure to wear gloves and hearing protection, as well as glasses. Most importantly, probably the glasses. So I have it cut out, and then I went with the sanding disc and just kind of cleaned the edges, made it so there's nothing sharp. Now I'm going to put it in and see what it looks like. So I have it sitting in here, and I think what I'm going to do is actually drill some holes and use grabber screws to put it into shape. And I'm going to actually use some pretty big ones. Like that's a 1/2-inch head. So I believe it's 3/8. And the reason is I don't actually want screws holding it in, just because I don't like the sharp ends. So this will give me a nice hole at the end where I can actually put bolts with nuts on the bottom. That way there's nothing to grab you if you're reaching underneath and cut you. Also, I really just don't want the floor falling out like in Fast and the Furious for no reason. So I'm going to make sure it's nicely secured, because, you know, I mean, floors do happen to fall out sometimes. Well, I don't know about you, but that sure does look like a beater floor pan to me. Fits just how I need it, not perfect, which I don't care. Has a couple bolts. Found a few soft spots, so there's extra hole there, but you know, perfect for what I want it for. You know, your feet not falling through. Well, I like it. This side's done a little bit better. I notched it out and everything and kind of bent it around, mostly because I needed it to fit a little tighter, since, you know, it's the driving compartment. I'm pretty happy with it though. Well, I'm gonna call it a night, and tomorrow go back at it. I'm pleased with the floor. Just have to fix it and take those grabber screws out, or grabber bolts, and put actual bolts. And then I'm gonna call the floor done. I did get that brake off. There's no light, so you can't see, but everything actually looks really good. So pretty pleased with that. Anyway, so back at it in the morning. Today, I think I'm gonna work on the shocks, front and rear, and probably the front brake lines. I've got some parts coming for the rear, because I noticed that this one's, the axle seal is leaking. So I'm getting new axle seals for it. Just have to wait for those. And we'll see how far I get. This floors kind of came together, sort of cool. Okay, so working on the rear, we've got the shocks off. I finally got this drum off. It was stuck on, it was kind of rusted in the middle. And as you can see, the brakes actually look really good. However, you can see some moisture starting to come on the wheel cylinder. And then there's some leakage down here, and that's from the inner wheel seal. So this line up here, sorry about the camera work. The line up there that goes to from the body to the rubber that goes down there, Well, I bought a brand new one, and this is what they sent me, and that is not the correct one. So I'm waiting on a new one of those. And then the lines that come from the block, this is the block, those things were just so soft that they just broke, like literally just came apart. So I ordered new lines, the new rubber, so everything back here will be new. So now I've just got to wait on parts, and as soon as I get all those parts, the rear end can go back together. I am going to put an adjustable pinion snubber on it. I already had one that's all junky and everything, so I'm going to put that on and then go from there. I have the front driver drum off. Brakes look pretty good. In fact, the bearings actually look really good, but I'm going to go ahead and repack them and everything like that. But then back to these brake lines. That brake line, it won't come loose. Sorry, it won't come loose. I'm gonna try heat, but you can see how rotten it actually is, and I haven't even really turned it yet. So I think I've got to get some front brake lines as well, which sucks because it's like 140 bucks. But I don't really have any other options. I'm gonna try heat just for fun, but I think it's just fragile enough and needs replaced. Safety first. In true roadkill style fashion, I have made a list. I've spent quite a few hours working on this car, and it doesn't seem like I've hardly crossed anything off. But the majority of this stuff is just safety and maintenance. It's not anything to do with the value of the car. The only things that are basically add-ons is the pinion snubber, which is done now, the electronic ignition. Tune-up is maintenance, but I put a star there. The carburetor, so the carb that's in the car or on the car is junk, so I've got to do something different. A tach, which is just something you want, especially with a 4-speed. Gauge pod, so I can check everything, and then cut exhaust. Everything else is legitimate safety and maintenance that just needs to be done. So lots of stuff to do. Well, it's Saturday and we're back at it, working on getting the front brakes done with the new wheel cylinders and lines. However, the steel line that goes around the body isn't here, so I won't be able to do that, or we won't. I'm gonna get the master cylinder swapped. I'm working on that now. And new brake rubber for the rear, gonna get that in, the rear shocks, hopefully get the rear end all buttoned up today. Front shocks are in, gas cap's been removed. We'll see how far we get. What a beater. Okay, so some progress. Got the clutch fan on. We've got the coolant overflow. We've got the electronic ignition with the tune-up all done. Those wires don't stand out too much, so it still looks like a beater, right? I mean, you know, not flashy at all. Carburetor still needs replaced. Timing still needs to be adjusted. But it actually runs way better than it did. And it doesn't even really seem to be smoking, which is pretty good. Just burning off a little bit of oil. So overall, I'm impressed. Now we just got to play with the rear end and then finish all the brake lines and stuff. So we actually made a lot of progress. Here's the little list that we made. And as you can see, there's not a lot. Most of it has to do with brakes and rear end and a few things. And in order to finish all the brakes, I'm waiting on the hard lines that we had to replace. And then like the axle, the driver sill is in, the passenger one, the old sill, somebody siliconed it in. So I've got to figure out how to get it out without hurting the axle housing. Just going to show you one thing really quick. So here's the remainder, the remnants, I mean, of the old factory stripe from, well, you know, this is a 340 swinger. It was that ugly green with the black stripe, black top and black interior. But anyway, it's actually getting closer, so we'll definitely, unless I heard it in between now and then, we should definitely have it ready for duct tape drags. As you can see, I fixed the hole in the seat appropriately enough with duct tape. And my floors, I love those. But really, it's not far off, guys. It does run. We still need to do the timing and tuning and whatnot, but yeah, awesome. So excited. And then once we finish this, we'll turn the attention to the Max wagon. Dana 60 got dropped off at the shop yesterday. All of the Calvert Racing stuff is coming for the rear end, so new springs, Cal tracks and whatnot. That car's gonna be awesome. I mean, it already is, but it's gonna be even more so. And then get back to the Super Coupe for this, and the Challenger. So beautiful. Anyway, till we get back at it. I've got Olin here helping me, and Brett is here helping me. Hopefully we'll have the button or the rear end all buttoned up here shortly. Working on dropping the 323 sure grip right now, and we're gonna put this 391 that I had laying around. So it's gonna have a 391 with that 340 in the 4-speed. Should launch a little bit harder, hopefully. Got to get the U-joints replaced, and then pretty much once we have the rear end all buttoned up, it's finishing the brake lines on the front, bleeding the brakes and the carburetor, and then just adjustment and tuning. So hopefully this week. I also fixed that hole over there with the pink duct tape. There's another hole here. Not gonna worry about the back seat, but gotta have the front looking good for duct tape drags. Yeah, I'm getting really excited. Hopefully we'll have this car done this weekend, and then next weekend we can pull the Max wagon over here, do the head gaskets and everything, and then get it ready for the rear suspension. We have all the Calvert Racing stuff. It showed up yesterday, and then the Dana 60 for it is at Hawker's getting built. That car is going to be awesome. So these two will be at Duct Tape Drags for sure, unless something crazy happens. So we've got the 391 in, but we ran into some problems out here. The old nuts, whoever had done something with the rear end at some point in its life, they way over torqued the nuts. And as we were trying to put them on, they were just, the threads were literally coming out in them. So I had to go get new nuts for it. And then I've got the other side all basically put back together other than the brakes. I'm gonna hurry and put the nuts on right here, get the pinion snubber on. I might put fluid in it tonight. I'm not sure. I'm kind of running out of time for the evening, but overall pretty happy. I didn't have a gasket for the diff, so we just used way too much silicone, and I did actually honestly use way too much silicone, unfortunately, but oh well. So anyway, I'm gonna get back at it. Okay, the new wheel cylinder's on. The nuts are all tightened up. Axle's good to go. Like I already said, the sure grip's in. Now has the oil in it, the pinion snubber. As you can see, the new brake lines, the new brake hose. So the rear is essentially done, other than I just need to finish the brakes here, then bleed the brakes once I get the drums back on, and then on to the front brake lines. And just because the clutch is really old, I may replace just the clutch disc, but we'll see. And the list, even though it's been getting longer, has been getting shorter. So we get to sign a few more things off. This is at the shop now. Still needs done. The fuel system is just, I need to put a fuel filter on it, so that's pretty easy. Still need to grease the front end, finish front brake lines, which are right there. And then this is done. So we're getting close. A lot of this stuff is just kind of non-essential, but I think I do need to put that. So clutch. I think it'll be better to fix it now than when we're at the races. So really, I want something that performs a little better than how the factory air filter assembly did. Plus, I don't really want this car to look like it's a 340 car because I'm trying to do the Battle of the Beater $5,000 thing. So this is the air filter assembly from the Super Coupe originally. And I had 2 filters. It's already been cut on the top. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the grinder and cut the bottom out so it kind of matches the top. That way it still looks all ratty and nasty like the original, or like the engine does, and won't stand out. So hoping that's a good idea. Well, that was easy. Now just a little bit of cleanup. Should be perfect. So obviously I'll put a new filter in it, but that looks perfect. Unsuspecting. I mean, the engine, look at that. Does that look like it's anything special? I mean, it might not be. It really is a 340, but it's tired and old and worn out. It's gonna be fun just to go beat on this car. Love it. So excited. Okay, so we're back at it. We've only got like 6 weeks until this car, as well as the Max Wagon and whatever other car we decide to take down, has to be ready. So I've got the battery hold down sitting right there. I'm going to put it on. We're pulling the transmission right now. Brett's under there doing that so we can put a new clutch in it. Finally found a gas cap out there at the yard. I cannot believe how many different gas caps Chrysler used. It's kind of stupid. And then brake hardware so we can finish putting this side together. Once the bell housing is off and everything, I can work on doing all the brake lines up front. It'll be a lot easier with the Z-bar and everything out of the way. But anyway, so I am going to work on pulling the shifter and then the battery hold down and get this thing going. Brett and I are under here and we're just about ready to get this transmission dropped. Then bell housing, clutch, and while it's out, brake lines. And the transmission is out. It's kind of cool because it is the numbers matching one. I already checked the engine's the numbers matching one. So this car is actually full numbers matching. I'm not going to be able to do much more today because I actually have to go to my actual job instead of playing with cars. So that's where I'm going to leave it. So till next time. It is August 12th today, which means in 6 weekends, I believe, we will be down there at Duct Tape. So we got a lot of work to do. Today we're just going to kind of hopefully finish up getting the clutch, probably run the brake lines, new starter. I did get a line lock for it. I am over here. I'm going to be rebuilding this Holley double pumper. It's a 650, I believe. And it's just one off of my shelf of all the junk carburetors I have. As you can see, that thing is absolutely filthy. But hopefully with this kit, the AED, which I've heard is really awesome, and then I've got a whole bunch of parts that I don't even really know what are. So hopefully I can either make a good carburetor or turn a junk carburetor into bigger junk. Now we've got to install our Kentucky chrome and some other stuff on there. Yeah, I'm getting excited though.
Okay, so we got the clutch off and the bell housing, and this is what the flywheel looks like, and I'll show you in a second with the pressure plate and the clutch disc. But we're going to show you also how to budget fix this, seeing as how this just needs to do duct tape and then that's it. So here's the pressure plate. As you can see, it looks like it got a little heat. There's some material up on it. And here's the clutch disc. And when we pulled this off, you could definitely smell clutch. So it wasn't terrible, but we're going to replace it with something better. And Kevin, I'm going to stand here and show you as Kevin fixes this. All you do is you put some sandpaper on a little orbital sander there, and you just run it around. You don't want to stand in one place too long, but you just want to run it around. If we can find power. One moment. Okay. Round two. So as you can see, we just kind of took some of that heat out of there again. Just trying to make it look nice. It's nothing professional by no means, but it'll get the job done for what we need. So as you can see, we've cleaned this up. We just took off the part of the clutch that was stuck on here and just made it a little shiny, just taking the heat out of it.
So they're over there working on the clutch. They just showed you how to properly fix the flywheel and everything for a new clutch. While they've been over there working on that, I finally got this Holly disassembled, which should be easy except for these gaskets were like glued on. I know they weren't really, they're just aged and stuck on, but what a pain. And I'll be the first to admit I don't know what I'm doing here. So I'm not even gonna try to video me pretending to work on this. Like I already said, I'm either gonna make it better or turn it into worse junk than it already was. But hey, the key is to learn, and that's a big part of this hobby, is just learning and trying to figure stuff out yourself. And that's exactly what I'm doing. It doesn't look like this carburetor had a lot of miles on it, but it does look like it's been ran. But worse than that, it has just been sitting on a shelf for a long time. I mean, there's actually a cobweb right there in the middle and just all sorts of dust. I mean, you can see all the dust after I've sprayed it off. It's just dirty. But we'll get it back together and hopefully it works how I want it to. Can't work any worse than the Edelbrock that's on there now.
Okay, so we got the clutch installed, and then we finished up putting the brake lines to either side on the front. We are just about ready to bleed the brakes, and we're probably going to finish up this clutch because that requires being under the car. So while we're still here, we'll finish up the putting the bell housing on and go from there.
So I've got it rebuilt, I hope. The kit that I actually had that I showed you at first, unfortunately, wasn't the right one, even though it was the one I ordered for this carburetor. Luckily, I had an old Holly, like the race kit. What is it called? The trick kit. I had one of those. That was the right one, so I was able to put it together, clean it all up. Everything seems to work good. I had to drill the hole out here to put the linkage in. So hopefully that all works good. I had another double pumper here that had the fuel line on it, so that's cool. Hopefully, when I put it on and we fire it up, I won't blow the power valve immediately and have to tear it all back apart. So Kevin and Cameron are underneath putting the transmission in place. I just put the carburetor on. I did fix the linkage. In my other video I showed you I had that on the wrong way. So it's fixed now, and then I made sure it's tight here. I haven't tried to make sure I have full pull on it, but we'll check all that here in a little bit and then do all the tuning. Probably not today. I don't know if it'll be quite ready to start up, but definitely getting a lot closer. I think that looks beater. Look at that air filter, doesn't look good. I mean, the filter looks good, the rest of it doesn't. Kind of hides the carburetor. You can't see that it's relatively clean. If it wasn't for those bright blue spark plug wires, you wouldn't know that there was anything here. I mean, realistically, there isn't. Just a tired old V8. Look, Kevin and Cameron are just buttoning up, putting the transmission in. Me, Jeremy, actually worked underneath the car. I know, it's amazing. But I got the Driveline in. We had the U-joints replaced and everything, so hopefully it'll be good at Duct Tape Drags. I'm getting excited. It's getting close to where we can actually put the car down, but I still don't think we'll quite get it down today because we need to bleed the brakes, still need to do the master cylinder, put the line lock in, couple other things, probably adjust the clutch before, so probably won't go down today, but it's getting really close. So we're calling it a day because I've got to get some more parts for the line lock, but the list is really short now. Just some vacuum line to go for the vacuum advance, and then just finish the brakes with the line lock. And then it's literally fired up, adjustments, grease the front end. And I think that's about it. I mean, you know, I'll put the wheels and stuff on, but guys, it's getting really close. There's a couple other things, just appearance, aesthetic wise, I'm gonna do, which I'm really excited to show you because it's awesome. I don't see the bag here, but there's a story, and I'll tell you when I get ready to do it because it's a fun story. So anyway, like I said, I'm gonna call it a day, but lots done today. Really excited. Then we've got a bust out on that, and then just kind of some sad news. So I've been renting this shop, and I got news today that probably mid-September I won't have the shop. So I am literally working because I'm gonna lose the shop, not so I don't lose the shop. But that's all right. When one door closes, another one opens in one way or another. Hey everybody, we're back on the Dart. It's been kind of neglected just due to all the traveling I've been doing for picking up some project cars, but I've got Brett here, and we are going to hopefully have this about finished up today. We've got to install the line lock, bleed all the brakes. We're gonna put on a cool torque strap provided by Schumacher, and these things are awesome. You've probably seen it on my 69 340 swinger. Then once we're done with the brakes, we're gonna fire everything up, adjust it, and hope that my awesome carburetor rebuild job is functional and doesn't just you know, cause more problems. Hopefully we can have it on the ground and go do a burnout. That's what I'd really like to do. So yeah. Okay, we didn't get near as much done as we wanted because the stupid master cylinder is absolute garbage and just fought us the whole time trying to get the fitting to seat for the rear brakes on the front of the master right here. We could not get that to seat, and it was just a pain. And then had a problem with this fitting here. For whatever reason, even though it's the correct one for here, and it would thread in directly here just fine, we could not get it to start in any of the brass fittings. And finally, after a bunch of time, we got that to work and had to build this line, which is done. I'm going to modify this just a little, or try to push it over so it's a little bit closer to the body and further from the manifold, just so there's not as much heat. Otherwise, we really did not make much progress. Oh, we did get the brakes all bled, so that's a big thing. I could actually put the wheels back on and probably put it down on the ground. Other than I still want to grease the front end. I've got new exhaust for it. Oops, there we go. I've got new exhaust for it, just mufflers. I'm going to put some purple hornies. And then I think officially can go down. Oh, I also started wiring up the line lock. So I'm going to put the switch right there, run it down so it's kind of hidden, and put the T-handle on it. I didn't really want to put the T-handle, but I figured with the line lock and whatnot, it's going to be a lot more convenient. We did fire it up. I did a really crappy job building that carburetor, I think. So I've got a different carburetor I'm going to put on it, or we might play with that one a little longer. I've got to take it back apart, I think, and readjust the floats because I don't think I did it correctly, as it's just shooting out right here. So that kind of sucks, but hey, that's how you learn also. And so you can't really fail it too bad. But some progress, but not near as much as we wanted for basically a whole day's worth of work. But I'm going to call it a day just because I've spent, 36 hours on the road, a little more than that, yesterday and the day before, and didn't really get any sleep. So, yeah, sorry I'm a little groggy. So I decided not to go home and go to sleep just yet. I decided to put the wheels on. But then I wanted to show you or tell you a cool little story. It's kind of funny, and there's no way am I picking on anybody. I just thought this was absolutely hilarious and very fitting for Duct Tape Drags. Several years ago, I was in Kentucky, and we were going down the road, and there was this vehicle driving down the road, and I mean, it had a lot of duct tape on it, a lot. And we're riding with the lady and her husband who lived there in Kentucky, and I commented to my friend John about it, and she said, "What, you ain't ever heard of Kentucky Chrome?" And so I decided, since this Dart was pretty plain, I installed some Kentucky Chrome all the way down, and now I'm gonna go do the other side. But figured it was very fitting due to the event that we're getting this car ready for. So yeah, kind of funny. I'll get a good picture or video here in a little bit. Okay, I am back at it today solo. I think I was wrong. I think I told you guys that I had, like, we had to be there in 6 weeks, like a week or two ago. But 6 weeks from today, we'll be ending Duct Tape Drags. So getting close, running out of time, but not as fast as I was initially thinking. I did find, so I picked up a bunch of cars that you'll see in some other videos prior to when this one came out. And this Brawler happened to be on a car. It doesn't appear to have ever been ran, but I am gonna just kind of go over it and clean it up. I'm not even gonna open it. I think I'm gonna put it on instead of this Holly that I messed up. I've heard a lot of good things on those Brawlers, that they're great right out of the box. So let's find out. So I gotta do that. Then all the adjustments of timing. I need to charge the battery. I've bought some purple hornies so that it has a little noise to it, but I could only find the flange ones. So I've got to cut those off and make them work with the exhaust that's on it, the current factory crap. Wire in the line lock, grease the front end, adjust the clutch, and then just all the tuning. So it's really actually close. Due to time restraint, and like I've said, that I'm losing the shop because they have to sell the house, the Max Wagon, I'm not going to finish it. It's going to go back over to Thurman. He's going to do the head gaskets and tuning and some stuff on that. And then it's going to go over to Troy at Hawkers A1 and Logan. They're going to install all the Caltracs, the monoleafs, and a Dana 60 rear end. So it should be all set. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be the one doing most of the work. Just, again, due to time restraints, work schedule, whatnot. Because I've got to be out of here middle of September, and I still need to put the Super Coupe back together. So really need to button that up and focus on this to clean it all up. And hopefully I can stay a little bit longer, but I don't know if I'll be able to. So got to focus on what I've got to do. But anyway, so yeah, I'll show you what I'm doing as I'm going. Oh, I'm gonna be putting the stencil on right here, just the top part of it, so that you know, I mean, this is a scrap car basically, not literally, don't take that literal, but it is, the car is super rusty. It's not a good car. Anyway, so I'm gonna get to work. So I have the Brawler on now and got it all hooked up, I hope. And let's see if it will start. And hopefully it's not doing what the Holly did and spewing fuel all over. So let's... It's just have been the residual carb cleaner from when I cleaned it or something. We got fuel leak, so let me hurry and take care of that fuel leak and then we'll try again. Okay, round 2. Maybe. Okay, I think timing is way off. Just turn it just a little bit. Might have been too much. leaking out the other side too. There's not a lot of room here to put a wrench on them without them hitting, and I don't think I have a wrench big enough. Okay, give me a minute. So I found a 1-inch wrench for the other side, and it's 13/16 on this side. Tighten everything up. Let's see what it does now. Good news. Oh, so now it's leaking out the accelerator pump. What the crap? What a headache. Well, let's go for round 3. So what I did, I actually just took the front bowl off. The gasket in here was just dried out, as was the rubber there. So I'm hoping that's all it was, but that just kind of makes me wonder how the rest of it is. The inside of the carburetor is super clean. It doesn't look like it's ever been ren, but I'm just wondering if it's sat for a long time and all the gaskets have dried. Anyway, let's see what it does. Well, fired up nice, but yeah, it actually doesn't sound too bad. Obviously needs some adjusting, but not seeing any fuel leaks. Do the other little test, see if there's any vacuum leaks. Doesn't look like it. So what you're doing here is you're just spraying the base, the gaskets with carb cleaner. And if there's any place where it's sucking air in, the RPM will change and everything, and then you'll know that you have like a leak somewhere in the base gasket. If the vacuum didn't change, I mean, like that just killed it. So if you had it just sucking in, it would either kill it or the RPM would change. But I think it's actually good until we adjust it. That probably won't happen right now because pretty soon I got to load the Max wagon up, go drop it off, and then I've got to go pick up parts from the 69 Roadrunner that Dave at Rust Bucket is building. So I'm not sure how much time I'll have on this today, but hey, it runs, yay. Now will it do a burnout later? We'll see. So I've got Dad over here and we're playing a little bit. Might do a little bit of adjustment. Just kind of seeing what we need to do. But realistically, I am pretty impressed with this carburetor thus far because we haven't done a thing to it other than install it and fix what I showed you yesterday, those leaks. But it actually started right up, no problem today. I've said it before and I'll say it again. After a car's set for a while, the fuel pumps are always bad in one way or another. This one I thought we were good because it was actually pumping fuel, but as we were running it, trying to adjust it, it started leaking fuel all over around the seam, all through here, and was spewing all over the ground. So, had to replace the fuel pump. So I'd put that on a list of anytime you have a car that's set for any amount of time, just replace the fuel pump right off. I got the fuel pump changed. Dad is underneath working on adjusting the clutch right now, and I've been kind of going over tachs that I have. So this is a cool vintage 10,000 RPM Sun tach. This is the one I wanted to go with because it's rusty and it fits the rest of the car. Unfortunately, I can't use that one because it requires a box. This was the next choice just because it's kind of an old, ugly, no-name brand, small, kind of easy to hide, but it has pieces rattling inside, so can't use that one. I have a nice Dixco one that I might use, but I also have this one, and I thought, hey, this one's kind of cool. It has a rev limiter and a shift light and everything, and it's also vintage, but It's a little bit nicer than I wanted, so I think I'm going to throw it around a little bit and scratch it. No, I'm just kidding. I would definitely not do that because I really like this. But I think this is the one I'm going to use. Big, in your face, not discreet at all, but hopefully it's functional. Back to tuning. It actually starts really good. I'm actually really surprised how well this 340, for racing purposes, 318 runs. Doesn't even seem to be smoking really right now. I've got it set at 10 degrees advanced, right? Or retarded?
It's creeped up now because the RPMs are up. We're at about 12, maybe 14.
You want me to turn it back or leave it right there?
Go back just a touch. Oh, imagine. Right there, right there.
Heck yeah, sitting over 30 years and we're gonna take it racing. Who cares about the will it run? I wanna see will it race. You know how I just joked a minute ago that I was gonna throw this on the ground to make it look more like it was fitting for this car? Well, I actually dropped it on the ground and now it won't work. So I'm pretty sad about that. This Dixco one is super cool. It doesn't work. So luckily I had this brand new NOS one that I mentioned. It's kind of big. And this one worked. So that one's gonna go in, but that's really unfortunate that I broke that one. I mean, I really like that one. I have another Moroso one right there. That one's going for the Super Coupe. But I love tachs, unfortunately. They're all broken now. Nah. You know how I just joked a minute ago that I was going to throw this on the ground to make it look more like it was fitting for this car? Well, I actually dropped it on the ground and now it won't work. So I'm pretty sad about that. This Dixco one is super cool. It doesn't work. So luckily I had this brand new NOS one that I mentioned. It's kind of big. And this one worked. So that one's gonna go in, but that's really unfortunate that I broke that one. I mean, I really like that one. I have another Moroso one right there. That one's going for the Super Coupe. But I love tachs, unfortunately. They're all broken now. Nah. So the tach is essentially in. I've just got to hook up to the battery. I need to go get a connector because I thought I had one and I don't. But I also need to go get some parts for the exhaust so I can get these purple hornies in. So I need to cut the exhaust off underneath. And then I'm going to just kind of crudely redneck mount these sweet purple hornies on there. And man, then I think it's about time I can actually put it down and take it for a drive. I've got to go return these because I grabbed the wrong parts like an idiot. twice. Anyway, getting really close. I mean, I still, while it's up, other than the exhaust, excuse me, I still need to put the mount in down here that was provided by Schumacher, and I'll show you that later. Yeah, but it's getting really close. We'll have this done this week unless I have to go back to California. Really quick on a different note. So I took my 340 Dart, the other one, that one. I was gonna drive it earlier and I'm gonna take it now, but when I started earlier, had a really weird noise and it sounded like it was coming from the distributor. And I have never seen this in my life. So what it was doing, I mean, it still had a little bit of the rubber connected. It was arcing, and you could actually hear it arcing inside of the plug wire. But I have never seen a plug wire actually burn like that. Have any of you? Because that is something new to me. One thing I have noticed driving my Dart a fair amount is I've become no stranger to these things here. But for some reason, when it's something fun, it just doesn't seem to matter that much. Anyway, but I have fuel for the duct tape Dart in there and topped off this one and got all the stuff that I needed. I hope the correct stuff this time. And now I'm gonna go back and work on the duct tape Dart. Well, I have the purple hornies installed, and really, for kind of a cheap, just clamp together job and whatever, it doesn't look too bad. Now let's see if we'll fire up and see how it sounds. Just about time to put this car down. I'm excited. Oh, there we go. Ooh, it sounds a lot better than it did before. Oh yeah, I just about ran out of gas a little bit ago checking the tach. Yeah, that'll do. Oh, so I'm thinking, since it's so close, there's a few other little things I need to do underneath, but I can't wait. I'm gonna put it down and I'm gonna take this thing for a real quick spin. I'm excited. So yeah, put it down, gonna go for a drive. It's down on all fours. First time with these four. So now let's see what it does. Sure is a lot easier getting in now. Burst light even works. So I just hooked the actual fuel system up. Must be taking a second. Well, the clutch definitely feels better than it did before we changed it. Sun is right in the way. squishy. We might have to play with those a little bit more. Go third. Nope, something's wrong. Okay, so I accidentally turned the video off when I said something was wrong. And basically I was having a problem getting the car to go from second to third. So we've got to put the car back up on jack stands, and we're going to re-bleed the front brakes and check all of those and make sure they're good. Check the shift linkage and make sure that everything is copacetic there, but just feels like it's binding up going from second to third, and I couldn't get it into third. Also, it's leaking fuel out the sending unit, so we'll probably have to drain the tank and put a new seal on the sending unit. But basically, other than that, it's done. Like, it's ready to go, which is awesome because it's now Saturday, September 2nd or 3rd, whichever. So it is this month that we've got to be down there for Duct Tape Drags with this car. The Max wagon, Kevin and Cameron are taking their little Gasser Valiant, so we're going to get some cool video of that. And then there may be another surprise if it all comes to fruition. I'll actually let you know here in this video, because we're going to go meet with somebody here in just a few minutes for just a little bit, and then try to get this car all buttoned up. Because I want to take it to Peach Days Car Show, which is a week from today. And I've got to go to Sacramento for the final load of those cars that we've been picking up. So busy. But I mean, look at that checklist. It is basically done, other than grease the front end. We still need to do that. So, and then probably a few other little odds and ends, but I'm excited, guys. This is going to be a lot of fun. And like I said, with this car, forget will it run. I want to know, will it race? So you'll be able to find out at Duct Tape Drags the end of this month. I'm ecstatic about it, actually. One other thing that I just about forgot for some reason, this is that Schumacher torque strap that I was talking about. We need to get this installed as well. We already have it installed in the Max wagon. Unfortunately, just due to time restraints and all of that stuff, I'm not the one that actually did the work on the Max wagon. Our buddy Thurman Locke did all the engine work, and he installed it. I'll show you some video of it later, but it looks so nice on that 65 Belvedere. And this one's going to be just awesome on here. Anybody that's followed my channel, I did put the old style one on my other 69 340 Dart that I drive, and it's awesome. There is no movement, so I highly recommend this kit from Schumacher. Schumacher has a lot of amazing parts. They were like kind of not doing anything for a while, but they are back in business and doing a lot of great things. So be sure to check out Schumacher. And I'll put a link down below to their website. But anyway, we'll get that installed today as well. So here's a look of the torque strap installed. And fairly easy. You just drill those holes out in the lower K-frame right there and mount it. I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory and helps a ton as far as holding the engine in place so it doesn't rock. Highly recommended. And like I said, check out Schumacher's website down below. So here's the cool little announcement that I said that I might have for you. I just sold the 68 Satellite that I picked up in California, and it's going to Dave at Rustbuck Arrestos, and you guys are going to get to see this car at Duct Tape Drags in 4 weeks. Well, less than 4 weeks, so he's got a lot of work to do. But him and his boy T, they're going to get it done. And it's going to be a lot of fun. So I'm excited. So you'll see that car, you'll see their Valiant, and then you'll see the Max wagon, which is way back over there. And our blue duct tape Dart. So it's going to be awesome. Look forward to seeing you all there. We made it back out here to work on the Dart. We found the line lock. I broke the switch here, so that's why the electronic part wasn't working. So I've got to get a new switch for that. But we did figure out that the line lock mechanism piece needs to actually be lower than the master cylinder. So we just changed the angle a little bit, and now that seems to actually pressurize and the brakes feel way better. Kevin has been down here installing that Schumacher torque strap. As you can see, the brace is in. Really, this car is so close. I finished the awesome labeling here, and then, I mean, really, we just need to put it down and go get some video, and then I can end this video, and we can see if it will race here pretty soon. I'm really excited, like I've said about 100 times. I cannot wait to go beat on this in the Battle of the Beaters. So we are putting it down so we can go and take it for its second test drive. And hopefully this goes better than the first time when I drove it. Not that the first time was bad, but I'm hoping this is even better. And I really want to get a good burnout. Like a really good one. I have my tetanus shot, so I'm good to go. We're gonna go for a ride. Hopefully it all goes well, even though there's no line lock.
convinced you to put 391s in your car yet?
Any 391s in yours?
I don't know, it might be kind of neat.
good 318.
Getting the hot parts.
Oh, all that dirt. All that everything. Those purple ornies sound pretty good too. I'm impressed. Well, I'm going to close out this video with that and just a quick walk around. Watch soon. We're going to do some outside burnouts and all sorts of cool stuff. If you guys are in Utah or Southern Idaho, next Saturday, September 9th, I believe, is Peach Days down in Brigham City. This car is going to be there. The Max Wagon is going to be there. My Dart, Kevin and Cameron's. And it's going to be a fun time. So you'll be able to check this out before we go take it to Duct Tape Drags and probably blow it up. I honestly am really impressed with how well it did on that little burn we just did. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited. This is going to be a blast. And I've got to thank everybody that's helped. Kevin, Cameron, my dad, Brett, and of course all the Grange family, all in. I mean, without all of their help, I wouldn't be able to do what I do. And anyway, I also marked this up, so you know, tetanus shot required to ride. And please don't be afraid to touch, because I really don't care if you lean on it. So if you see it down at the car show and you need to lean on something, this is there, you can lean on it. Then of course the special thanks right there to everybody, and then just kind of a little note, you know, why this car is put together and everything, because I'm taking it to Peach Days, like I said, and I want people to understand why this car was built how it was. And then of course, make them safe, make them fun, and enjoy the hell out of them, because that's what it's for. And on that note, see you next time.